Wait a minute now. I don't know, but I think that trailer is just a little too big for that boat. Well, we might be able to move the bunks in. Coming to you once again from high atop the mountains, cascading over beautiful Greenwood Lake in Greenwood Lake, New York. It's another episode of Classic Boat Rescue. And welcome. This episode is actually the second episode about our victim, the Starcraft aluminum 17-foot boat. We found out actually that it actually has a style name. This particular vessel is known as the Jupiter, and we may have to refer to it from now on as the Jupiter. But some things have been done since last we saw this in our first episode ever of Classic Boat Rescue. So let's discuss some of those things and get right to it. Well, first of all, in the opener there, I showed you this little guy here. It's a mini classic boat, and it's in for a mini classic boat repair. It's gonna get rescued. Actually, I built this boat 30 years ago, and it came in a little kit that stood about 2 inches tall and about, I don't know, 24 inches long. And it was just a flat box full of pieces of balsa wood and mahogany veneer and some vague instructions. And I managed to get her together after a couple of months, and she came out really well, and I really like her a lot. After a while she went into storage, and she sat on a shelf for a while, and she went back into storage, and over the years she just became a little shop worn here and there. And I just recently took her out of mothballs and decided to fix her up a little bit. Now, her engine or motor, it's an electric motor, it's an electric remote control boat, which is back here. I'll show you. I just hope it doesn't fall off the damn trailer. Come on. Exciting television. It's hard to do stuff like this with one hand. Come on, trying to convince her off of there. There you go, yay. All right. The motor is electric, and it's run off a battery. And then we have the little speed control box for the servos in there. And she runs off of a 7.2 volt battery, like on the old remote control cars back in the day. Anyway, the gear reduction, or the V drive, was busted. The gears cracked and fell off with age. So I managed to find some new gears and get them to somehow work. And she had a leak at the bottom of her transom. I fixed that with some fiberglass resin. I repainted her interior. Let's put this back in here now. We don't need that on there anymore. Off there, rather. Alright, so I painted up her interior again, and her windshield was starting to get old and yellow. See the yellow? That's one. I replaced that one. This one's nice and crystal clear. And this one's still yellow. This one's going to get swapped out. And just recently, on a test run, lost her bow plate. So I'm trying to make one out of JB Weld. The original one was just a piece of stamped aluminum, and it was great and beautiful. Now it's in Greenwood Lake somewhere. If you see it, let me know. It looks like that. So I'm making one out of JB Weld, and I'm gonna put some new chromy shiny stuff on the chines, and gonna try to run it again once or twice before it gets too cold and things ice up on a lake. But anyway, why am I showing you this? This will be our inspiration for that guy. If you can believe it or not, what I'm going to try to do is make that boat into something like this little boat. we're going to take the entire hull and we're going to wrap it in wood grain vinyl, sort of the same kind of wrap that they use on cars. But they do have a wood grain marine grade vinyl that I'm going to wrap this boat with to make it look like that. And then I'll get a different color, a lighter color marine grain vinyl, and I'll wrap this section over here. And then I'll do sort of this like whole little pinstripe thing with more tape or some kind of pinstripe vinyl. And then I'll seal it all up with some kind of material, not necessarily varnish, but maybe something acrylic or something like that. Then we're going to make seats sort of like these back here. And then we're going to, well, obviously this guy's an outboard. This one's an inboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to like make a rear deck go up to a certain point on this guy. It'll be a four-seater. The seats will come to there, I'd say. And then from here on back, we'll have a deck, and we'll have like a cutout for the motor here by the splash basin, right there. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. So that's the plan. And I've already started working towards that end by mocking some things up on this guy. So let's take a look. I'm gonna walk around the front. There's Greenwood Lake again. There's Bill. Hi, Bill. That's Bill's house. And there's the 325iX. Anyway, so in the first episode of this build, I showed you that we were taking down the chine over here. Not the chine, rather, the bow plate. We're taking the bow plate down to aluminum, bare aluminum. I'm going to polish that. So I took more paint off of there. I got that pretty clean with the steel wool and a wire wheel on my drill. Start working on more of the bow plate down there. See, and a little more work on this chine. And I kind of, sort of started working on this chine, but it's still got a lot of paint on it. It's just all its paint on it, actually. But the bow plate's looking good. And I pushed the boat back off the trailer a little bit, back off of this cushion so I can get in there. See, this is before, after, before, after. And expose all the rivets, leave the rivets shiny. And then from here on, it's going to be wood grain vinyl. The bottom of the hull, I'm thinking about doing the same thing that I've got on the little remote control boat. And they painted the bottom of the hull copper. That's tradition on that particular kind of boat. And I plan to do the same thing to this. So it'll be copper, shiny, chromy, wood grain going down there like that. So what else am I doing here? What's the other plan of attack here? Okay, do you see those little posts behind the windshield there? Well, let's look at our little model. What kind of windshield do we have on that guy? That one's got flat glass with 3 stanchions. And that's what they used before they came out with the wraparound windshield. That's sort of like the kind of thing you see on like an old Chevy, like a 57 Chevy or something, where they had the wraparound windshields. So this was the technology they had before they managed to figure out how to bend glass into a wraparound shape. So you'll notice a bunch of stanchions. And they're just kind of like mocked up now with pieces of broomstick. So this windshield goes away. It's got a crack in it anyway, see? I don't know if you can see that crack. It had a crack in it right where it was mounted. Right there. So, I mean, I could have doctored that and made it work. But, you know, why? Why? I've got this idea going on. So, there are the stanchions. The 3 stanchions. Now, if you look online for original wooden boat stanchions, I'm going to call them stanchions. I don't know what they're really called. They're usually bronze, chrome-plated, nickel-plated, fancy, you know, cost you a fortune, you know, like break the bank. They're expensive. But what did I do over here? What are these things? Why am I using these? You know what these are? These are flagpole holders that you mount to the side of a building. And they've got the right shape. Get out of the light now. I'm in the light there with my shadow. How you doing? There you are. Hi. So anyway, they're the right shape. They've got this kind of a cool teardrop design at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is just somehow make it a smooth transition from that to some kind of post. Now, people are telling me, yeah, you can't do this because then you're going to have to cut a groove up in here on all three of these to get the glass to perfectly fit down that line, and it's a compound angle and it's never going to happen. Well, it's going to happen. Hopefully. What I'm going to do is get a piece of cardboard or plywood and cut it to the shape that I want. Sort of like over here. See that? We got that kind of like bow at the top kind of shape. So we're going to cut it like that. We're going to somehow get in there on the stanchions, on the ones we're going to build, and we're going to cut in a groove on all three of them, two in the middle obviously, one for each side, and then one groove here and one groove there for the outside bits of edge of glass. And we're going to slide it in there and we're going to make this work. That's the plan. So yeah, I think these will actually work. And like I said, they have a cool design. I got them taped down right now just to mock it up, and I'll show you. I'm going to rip it off there. I'll show you what we got going on here. See, it's got kind of a cool teardrop design, and what I'm going to do is sand these down, buff them down, and make them really nice. There you go. There's less shadow that way. I'm going to make them really nice. And oh, there you. Hey, smart move, Mike. Move it into the sun. Sand them down, make them really nice and shiny. Buff them, and then the groove. I'll grind down this bit here. Okay, so that the groove can come all the way down and just go all the way to say around here, and then we'll slide the glass in. Now if you look on the model, you'll see that there is a gap at the bottom, a slight gap in the glass at the bottom, and we can achieve the same thing right here. We'll achieve the same thing. We'll put a gap at the bottom of the glass coming out, and that'll work. And what we'll accomplish that way is have a nice 1930s or 40s looking windshield for, I don't know, less than $100, because I don't plan to use glass. I'll be probably using something like Lexan or some plexiglass or something silly like that. Gonna make that work. Now also, you see, this is the stock steering wheel from StarCraft. There's sort of like a rope design on it, a nice nautical rope design, but that's gonna go because I want to put a Teleflex steering mechanism in here with the cable that runs all the way down to the back to the outboard. Okay, while I'm doing that, I'm figuring I'll do something really funky and fancy. You see on the model there, they've got a real funky and fancy steering wheel. Almost looks like something off an old 50s car. Well, I'm planning to do the same thing. What I want to do is get like a real fancy white steering wheel out of a Cadillac or out of a Lincoln or something that just like screams gaudy. That's what I want to do. This big and fat and gaudy and a big old cool steering wheel. So that's my intention. And I put a seat in there. This is a seat out of my friend's BMW that he was storing over here because he didn't need it anymore. So I just put it in there for seating, just to get an idea of what the seating's going to feel like. And it's too low. This sucker's too low. I'd like it to be in maybe another 5 inches higher. You know, I mean, it's okay. You feel like you're like driving down the street, driving like a gangster, you know, like styling like a gangster when you're that low in the seat. But let's face it, I ain't no gangster. There's that cool vintage bilge pump. That's gonna go. Probably hang that on the wall, polish it with some kind of polish. I'll take the paint off of it. I think it's brass. If it's brass, it'll be cool. Very cool, shiny. Make a lamp out of it. Isn't that the old saying? You know what the hell to do with something that's cool, you just make a lamp out of it. So anyway, these bumpers here are rotting away. So the little pointed kind of finish caps on these bumper rails are gone to hell. Here, I'll show you. Here's one now. I went to polish them up and take them off to polish them, and just like from rot, they just went to hell. See that? Boom. Looks like it used to be red originally. Who the hell knows? But anyway, here's the deal. These bumper rails are gone. And I think that underneath that rubber strip, there are a bunch of screws. Which means if I take that all off of there, there's going to be a bunch of holes. So I'm going to have to figure out how to fill them in and make it smooth. But then it's going to be covered with vinyl wrap, and you're not even going to see the holes. So that'll be awesome. What else? I don't think there's much else happening. So yeah, we shined up the chines, we shined up the bow plate. We decided on using that kind of windshield frame. And that's it. All right, let's walk over here to the mini boat again. So yeah, we're going to do the same kind of interior on the big boat as this one. We're going to have also, see how this little pointy bit right here kind of moves this way, and then it's kind of like also on the seat. If you look, it's also on the dashboard, it's on the seats, and then the stripe continues all the way to back. And we're going to do the same thing on this boat, on the big one. We're going to have a red and white interior. Same thing. We're going to have the same kind of side panels, just like that, maybe with a little chrome stripe there, separating the white from the red. And that's that. I don't think we're going to do any of this kind of like hatch stuff over here. I might just like make it flat and have some kind of hinge going up from here up, so you can open up that panel back there for storage, and then there'll be another hinge, like a piano hinge, over here on the edge of the splash basin that you could lift up and maybe put some stuff back there. Maybe your gas tank can go over there, or maybe your battery can go over here in the storage basin, or the splash basin. Because if you look, here's a splash basin right here. See that? Pardon the mess. I work on it. This is stuff that I used to work on the last build, I think I told you before. But anyhow, so if I cover this entire splash basin over here, just cover it all up with a piece of plywood, except for a little cutout that'll kind of be U-shaped over here for the outboard motor. And I can cover it, and I could put a piano hinge right across there, so you can lift up that back cover, access maybe the battery there, or maybe the gas tank here, I don't know. And then from here to about 1/3 of the way up, have another panel here, plywood, and make it curved to match the bow, and have it come around like that. So it'll be like a 6-seater, 4-seater, because I plan to have bench seats, no bucket seats, you know. And you'll have to climb over the bench seat to get to the back here. You have to climb over this to get to this access panel. And you'll lift it up, and maybe, or I'll have them go sideways, one that way, one that way. Don't know yet. And back there we could put maybe a bar, or maybe we could put some kind of like place you could lay down and have a tan, or something like that. That's really not politically correct to get a tan anymore, but you know, what the hell. Whatever you want to do. So many things are politically incorrect anymore. Anyhow, enough of my ranting. Yeah, you can see what it's going to look like. There's the windshield before, in the foreground, and behind it is the new idea. Just like that. There it is. So, let's look. See this. There's that, right? And now, there's that. So, you know what they say, first you get the pebble before you get the boulder. Now, 30 years I got the pebble by building this guy. All right, and now 30 years later, I get the Boulder. Ugh. There you go. And this one will not be run off of batteries, obviously. Yeah, I'm looking for something like a 50 horsepower, actually. I've been told this boat would do well with a 50 horsepower motor, and I'm looking for something, say a 1966 vintage, probably an Evinrude or a Johnson, something OMC for this guy. But I want it to be vintage. I want it to kind of match what I'm doing over here. Actually, I wouldn't mind even an older vintage outboard, because after all, we are chasing after a vintage look. So even if it's like, say, oh, I would love to get like a 58 Johnson. Those red ones with the wings on them. Or one of those old Evinrudes. One of the blue ones that look sort of like, you know, a toaster with a lower unit on it. All chromy and fancy. So, that's it. That's the idea. So now you know what's going on in my head. Now, you've probably seen, if you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen this little boat kind of hanging out in the background one way or another. I mean, it's in the opening to the video I did on the Mohawk runabout. And it's been kicking around, and it's been inspiring me. And that's why it's in the videos. It's something I've been looking at and thinking about for a while now. So that's probably what's going to happen with it. I'm headed in that direction. Now, I don't know how much time I'm going to have. It's early November. It's getting cold. There's certain things that I cannot do in the cold. I'm not going to be wrapping vinyl on a boat in 16 degree weather. Not quite 16 below. 16 degree weather. And, you know, I'm not going to... I could strip paint. I could do that. But I don't think I'm going to do anything major as far as... I don't know, kind of like soft aesthetics go, like vinyl or paint or any of that nonsense. It's probably going to be deconstruction, and it's probably going to be R&D for the winter. But I'm going to try to give you a whole bunch of updates along the way so you know what's going on. So, with that, I am Mike. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like my videos. And I'll see you soon. This is Classic Boat Rescue, wishing you a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.